We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Hello, everyone, and we're gonna mute that. And welcome to the season finale / holiday special of Not Too Late, the only late night show that has a brown belt in karate. Our guest this week is someone really special to the show and IU as a whole. But before we get to them, let's look at the headlines this week. Burger King has implemented a new advertising campaign where you can order a 1-cent Whopper on their app if you're within 600 feet of a McDonald's. I don't know about you, but to me it sounds like someone's a little bit insecure about their meat. A large farm in rural northeastern Illinois suffered major damage in a fire Tuesday. No one was hurt, but tens of thousands of chickens are believed to be lost in the flames. Police have not yet arrested anyone in connection to this fire, but there is one prime suspect. Supposed to be a picture of KFC guy. We'll put that in later. There we go. 54 Amazon workers in New Jersey were unexpectedly exposed to bear repellent spray while
through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
All right, looks like we got carolers.
Making spirits rise.
I knew nothing about this. Right when I started. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. 54 Amazon workers in New Jersey were unexpectedly exposed to bear repellent spray while at work on an Amazon warehouse. The incident began when an Amazon robot punctured a large can of bear repellent spray. A majority of the workers were treated at the warehouse, however, one remains in critical condition. Reports suggest that he is barely hanging on. In a recent speech given at the UN climate conference in Poland, ex-California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger claimed that if time travel were possible, he would go back in time to stop fossil fuels from ever existing. Wow, Arnold Schwarzenegger going back in time to terminate something that may cause the end of the world. Sounds like a solid plot to me. Maybe he could say something at the end like, "Hasta la vista, BP." In high school sports, 10 of the football players from Byron High School in Illinois were forced to sit out 3 games after a new Oreo run where the players put Oreos between their butt cheeks and ran down the field. Honestly, the story would have made a bit more sense if it was the basketball team. I mean, Oreos are made for dunking. Now for some sadder news. IU's Interfraternity Council announced this week that another valiant fighter has fallen in the battle of university versus fraternity. Today we say goodbye to fraternity Kappa Sigma as they join Delta Tau Delta, Delta Sig, Sigma Nu, Teak, and ATO in our recently fallen heroes. And you know what? It just makes me sick that these cream of the crop men are being forced out of their multi-million-dollar mansions and being forced to move into these multi-million-dollar apartment complexes. I ask you to imagine the culture shock they must be going through right now. That must be a trauma that none of us will ever come close to. They're going through all this because of what? Hazing? I remember when they called it what it is. Character building. So what if a few pledges have to build a naked pyramid? Or get a teeny tiny brand of the fraternity letters on their stomach? Or God forbid, carry an egg between their butt cheeks across a field? All these teach the pledges different valuable lessons. The nude pyramid teaches them to be comfortable in their own bodies and to be comfortable with naked dudes stacked on top of them, obviously. The branding is a show of loyalty through permanent burn scars. What's better than that? And the egg thing, that teaches them a new way to transport eggs. I can't think of a single drawback to any of these activities. Just some real, true brotherhood that the university is unjustly trying to stop. Today I want to take a deep dive into some of these heroic men that are being targeted by this unjust system. Victim 1 of this awful oppression is a man named Todd Whiteman, straight C student, only sold Adderall twice, and secretly loves Hallmark movies. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a model student to me. And now, he's living in Evolve with a penthouse suite instead of a crappy sleeping dorm with 40 other dudes in the same room. That stinks. Or what about Garrett Hammer, a 23-year-old super senior that sells jewel pods in the right dining hall? And guess what? only has 2 DUIs this semester. That's down 3 from last semester. That's major improvement. He had to move out of his mansion into the Dillon, and his room doesn't even have a view of their pool. Yet another victim of this awful oppression. And last, but certainly not least, who can forget about Benny Harrison? Where do I start with him? He has a fraternity record for spending the most consecutive hours intoxicated during Little 5 in 2017. Not only that, but he just got his first ever A in his bowling class. Do you think he could have ever achieved such high academic achievement without his fraternity? Because I don't. So, what can we do? We need to stop this witch hunt and focus on the real problems in this university, like the insultingly high amount of gluten-free options in the Wilkie C-store. Or how about increasing the speed of electric scooters so I can get to class more efficiently? Or we could even address the lack of natty lights in the Spia vending machine. These are especially important to the frat bros after getting kicked off campus, because nothing takes the edge off like a cold natty light. And we know these boys aren't in Kelly. Before we get to our guests, we have a special holiday package mid-bar field team. Let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Drew from Not Too Late. The holidays are close around the corner. Whether you celebrate Thanksgiving, Festivus, Kwanzaa, or whatever, there's one thing we can all agree on. Family is weird. We're out here trying to get people ready for this upcoming holiday season. Alright, so the holiday season's coming up. Do you have any big holidays that you look forward to every year?
Big fan of Christmas.
Christmas. I really love Christmas a lot. Absolutely Christmas. I always like Thanksgiving.
I personally like Thanksgiving more than Christmas.
So what is your favorite part of the holiday season? What do you love about Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Food.
Turkey, cakes, pies, all that.
The family.
Okay.
I like spending time with the family.
One, big thing that people talk about is there's always that one family member who asks you the same 5 questions. So let's get this out of the way. Let's figure out your answers now so that we can be clear once the holiday season comes up. So, are you seeing anybody yet? That's a big question.
No, only Jesus.
That's definitely a good answer.
I probably wouldn't answer that one around my family.
No. Yes. I'm married, so yeah.
She married my brother. What are you studying?
I'm studying human development.
Okay.
Tourism, hospitality, and event management.
Wow.
I just recently changed my major to youth development.
And then the next question is always, what are you going to do with that degree?
Grad school, so I can actually use my degree.
Probably youth sports, hopefully. Something around youth sports. I love kids, so anything with kids, really.
What are you guys asking for Christmas? That's always a big thing.
Clothes, probably.
I mean, I don't want to repeat answers, so money?
A Roomba, so that I never have to clean my apartment.
No mold in my dorm would have to be one of them. There's a little bit of mold in my dorm.
Well, would you say that you've been naughty or nice then? Or you think you're going to get what you're wanting for Christmas?
Oh yeah, I should. I'm a good guy.
I'm gonna go with nice until challenged otherwise.
Definitely naughty. Never nice. I was about to say the same.
Oof. That's a little sketch. From all of us here at Not Too Late, have a happy whatever. Back to you, Turkey.
Hello. Welcome back to Not Too Late. I'm here with Steve, one of the engineers here. Welcome to the show. So what do you do here at IU?
I'm a engineer working with stuff, keeping this room working. It's what I enjoy doing. And when I'm not doing down here, I'm upstairs in master control for WTIU. So I have fun.
And what do you do in master control?
Maintain the integrity of the channel, the station. And it's multiplied since we started. When I first came here in '84, one channel, and it was in color, and it had stereo, da-da. But I mean, that was actually an event that happened on my watch. We went from mono audio to stereo, and that was a big deal back in '86, maybe, something like that. But hey, when one recorder playback machine was as big as you see us sitting here, 2 reels and such, and now we've got things that, it barely fits into a rack, and it just broadcasts everywhere. And now we have 5 channels off the same pot, off the same bandwidth, booger to booger to all the fancy, all the fancy stuff you want to deal with.
And
But
how long have you been teaching here at IU?
That's teaching is a different word, difficult word. I'm not ever being paid to teach, so that's the trick. But I started in here as the engineer to keep this place running, make it work, make the professor look good, keep everything up and running. And I run into a lot of things where somebody goes dink, and I hear it in the background, and they've done something wrong, or they're getting the wrong result, and everybody's starting. And any other engineer that worked here, and I'm sad to say, they would come up there, see the problem, and push the button and go back to their chair. Everybody else is looking at each other. What the heck did he just do? So I got into showing them exactly what they've done wrong and how to make it work. And it was fun. I couldn't just let them wander around and bust their heads and bleed all over the place. That's not good, But ended up I was taking half the class, and the professor or the AI was taking the other half, and that was the best possible thing that happened to me. I enjoyed this. It is fun. And doing this is getting even more enjoyable because there was a stretch here. I did an interview with you guys, and the people that pay me didn't like me in here doing that. I should be behind the camera tweaking things, I guess. But that was fun. I got to know you guys better, and seeing all you guys that come from out of country, okay, that was a blessing for me to get to see you guys. And from Africa or from Europe, okay, and now we're getting you guys from China, not just Korea and Japan, but China. Hello, welcome. That's a blast. I love that stuff because here we are, these crazy Americans, and I'm crazier than most of them. And as you can see, because I look like this all the time, whether I'm wearing red or not. Okay, this is me. Hello. How many of you are students of mine? Hello. Okay, no hands. Whoa. Okay, right, you're getting a full force. I got one right here.
So, I might understand correctly. I know people refer to you as Santa Steve. How did that come about?
Unfortunately, it just is very simple as it gets. This is what I look like.
So
the beard. Mrs. Claus insists on trimming my beard. And if I'm gonna segue into this thing here. So here we go. My wife went to class here in when was it? 80 to 83, 1980 to 83, and she took telecom in this room 2 years before I started working here in 84. And she's talking to the girls, and I'm assuming that the girls have the girls, meaning all you girls that are here at IU, have a conversation sooner or later. Who are you going to marry? Who are you going to marry? What's he going to be like? What's going on? And they all talking about the people that she had an opinion of. She has 3 brothers and 5 sisters. So she had an opinion of the guys around here as dating quality. Nothing, no disrespect to you guys, but she said, I ain't marrying anybody here at all. I ain't getting married till I'm 41. And she said this, she was 22, maybe 21. And then they all go, woof. I mean, I doubt the girls go woof, but there you go. Who are you going to marry at 41? And she said, without some hesitation, just Santa Claus. She was 42 when she married me, like this, okay? And she knew it. I mean, I met her at church, and I worked with her, because she was the sound girl in our church, okay? And then I became that, and I kind of pushed her out of her job, but she had a much better voice. She had a much better voice than I did. I like listening to her than I do for me. But she knew it immediately. And 6 or 7 years later, when I finally figured it out, I didn't, but all us guys run. And what is it with us guys? We run away. But we got it there. And so I've been married to her now 15 years. And she's my Mrs. Claus.
That's very nice.
She's my girl.
So with all your years working here, what's the craziest story you have from either working in the control room, like a meltdown? Has there ever been a fight or anything like that you've seen?
Let's see. It's a good question. I'm not sure. We keep it pretty low plow here, as low as we can get. Trying to figure out where we're going with it. But usually technology bites us big time.
Mm-hmm.
And we went from the playback record machine that I told you about. Okay, it's this big, this high with 2 reels. We clean the heads that get the video off of the tape. The tape is 2 inches thick, 2 inches wide, excuse me, and it's on a reel, weighs about 45 pounds. We clean the heads, the record heads, with our thumbnail. Zzz, you had to, because if you use cloth, imagine what a cloth would do if it got caught. There goes the, that's how we clean the heads. And it was good when it did it. You got a good picture.
Mm-hmm.
The playback head that was sweeping across the tape, okay, at blinding speed on your TV at home. Now remember, this is a 4x3 TV, right? In color, would only paint about that much with one pass. Anybody old enough in here that knows the technology, you remember that. But that's how the technology was. We painted some pretty good pictures because it took a lot of tuning and tweaking and turning and shoving and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays we paint one picture, still 30 frames a second, right? But the technology has just atom bombed into so much woof. It works, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're painting 1,080 lines with 1,940 points of detail in each line. HD television. That's what you're looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can count the hairs in my beard, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's frightening, trust me. If that camera ever zooms in on me, I'm in trouble. Or maybe you will, you go screaming down the hallway or something. But that's the technology, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Meltdowns. To be honest with you, the Lord has blessed me big time.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had really big meltdowns.
Not had a ton. Never seen a fist fight go on in the studio.
I didn't start any. Usually when I enter the room, it calms down.
Mm-hmm.
I have that quality, a big bucket of cold water,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But,
Nobody wants to get put on the naughty list.
That's a good one. Yeah, as long as you don't get too much of that R-rated comedy, we'll be okay. I'll have to talk to him later.
So lastly, do you have a favorite memory from working here at IU?
Oh wow, yeah. I did. I think the very first, maybe second or third time. Forgive me. I'm breaking the rules here. You get me talking, my mouth dries up. About the third time I was in front of the camera, not just a walkthrough, but it was when we had old cameras, and I'm trying to remember. Gosh, it was so long ago. But we had old cameras, and I had 2 lines to say, and the interesting thing was I meant these lines. They were from my heart. Trust me. But I came in front of the camera, and they went wide, and I saw the picture, and when it showed all the lights in the background, and the technology of those cameras. Then you look at these lights in a camera, and it burns a hole in the pickup tube if it's there longer than 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my favorite line was, and my repeated line was, "You're burning my tubes!" Because the camera was in, sorry audio. I know I just bent their ears in there. But those old cameras were very delicate. And you do not shoot lights with those. These things here, you could take this out in the sunshine. And I don't think I'd point them at the sun necessarily. The radiation is something, but technology's improved that much to get rid of that problem. So that's as technically scary as it gets. And for me, well, that was my own line thing. "You're burning my tubes." And they've kept that somewhere in the vaults of the building.
It's got to be somewhere.
It's got to be somewhere.
In the archives.
Yeah, it's scary.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out. We really appreciate it,
Thank
as
you.
always. You've done so much here for us at IU, and we
This
always
is-
appreciate that.
This is fun for me, guys. Okay.
Before we do our end of the season wrap up, we're going to show a field package made by Craig Whitman, who he's graduating this semester and leaving the show, sadly. We're really going to miss him dearly, but we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Enjoy.
The level of raw talent he has is incredible. I couldn't see him doing anything else with his life.
There's just something about the way he carries himself, you know? Just by looking at him that he's the best. As of right now, I wouldn't say there's anyone better out there.
I'm Giovanni Romano, and I am an artist. I've been white balancing as long as I can remember. My father white balanced, my father's father white balanced, my other father white balanced, and my third father also white balanced. Basically, if you look at any man or woman in my family, they all white balance. And if you do not white balance, you are not a true Romano. I've had a long career in the industry, lots of big budget movies, Transformers, Avatar, The Last Airbender, lots of those great films everyone loves. But my current project is a very small project. It's a student project, and usually I do not stoop this low with my work, but I felt like it was time for me to give back. I've become such a master in this art, it's time for me to become the teacher and help these young students with their project.
You look at any modern leader. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, they all have one thing in common. A Romano inspired them. Every generation, the Romano just keeps getting better and better. And Giovanni, well, he's the newest model. I personally wouldn't be where I am today without him. He's an absolute class act. Action.
Wait, no, cut! It's all wrong. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. It's all wrong.
You sure?
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
I truly draw in my inspiration from nature. It is my deepest held belief that the truest beauty can be found in the natural world, and that is what I try to have my art emulate. If a certain blade of grass is a certain shade of green, then that is the way it's meant to look on the screen. Now these three cards are my favorite three cards. This one here is snowman, or woman, gender neutral. Okay, this one here is eggshell blanc. Very fancy, very nice. And this one here is floral bridal shower supreme. Very rare, very rare. Now, the cards is only half the battle here. The other half of it is how you hold it. And they just don't teach it like they used to. It's a lot on the wrist. And in fact, here, you right there. Yeah, you, come here. I'm gonna show you how to do this. It's gonna be great for this. I'll take this from you.
Thanks.
No problem. Okay, now take the card. And just remember, it's all on the wrist, okay?
Okay.
It's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable.
Okay.
The most uncomfortable you've ever been. Because that's the price of art, especially with white balancing, the finest of all the arts. Okay, even more, okay.
Okay.
Now that's about halfway there.
Yeah.
but you're going good. This is great for a novice like him, a brand new person. This is fantastic, but just not even close to where I am personally, okay? So maybe someday, if you can live to be 200 years old, you can be where I'm at, but keep working at it. White balancing is more than just an art. It's a lifestyle. I've dedicated my life to it, and I hope to inspire others not only to become better at white balancing, but to become better at life as well. If you set your mind to it, anything is possible. The world is yours for the taking.
Craig, that was beautiful. Thanks. All right, really it is old. We're gonna do a quick poem to say goodbye to the season. And also because it's our holiday episode, if you couldn't tell. I feel like the trees may have given that away. 'Twas not too late before Christmas when all through the studio, not a crew member was stirring, not even audio. The stage lights were positioned by Martine with care in hopes that Santa Steve would soon be there. The cam-ops were bored and looked kind of dead, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And I, with my gauntlet, and Patrick, with his frappuccino, had settled down for a brief pre-show nap, a chino. When from backstage there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the couch to see what was the matter. Away to the exit, I flew like a flash, tore through the black curtains, and ran towards the crash. I burst out the exit and into the cold, pondering if the guest was actually scheduled. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. The sight was wondrous and hard to believe. I knew in a moment that it must be Santa Steve. From my spot on the ground, I heard him proclaim. He whistled and shouted and called out crew names. On lighting, on graphics, on cameras and gaffer. Then teleprompter and audio, prepare for some laughter. To the top of the building, to the top of the wall. Now dash away all. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. I ran into the building and pushed through the curtains, then entered the studio to see all the persons. The crew was awake and all in their places. They looked to me with their eager faces. I sat down in my chair, feeling quite bold, when from the control room I heard, "Ready, roll gold." That was a lovely Christmas poem. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for coming out today, and thank you also for another successful season of Not Too Late Season 2. We'll be back again next semester for Season 3. Thank you again to both Santa Steve and, of course, Craig. We're all going to miss you. And tune in next time, where Jesse Eisenberg and I will learn the true meaning of Hanukkah. I'll see you all then.
Thank you for watching another great episode of Not Too Late. If you want to see a past episode, click right here. If you want to subscribe, click here. If you want to check out our Twitter, click here. If you'd like to illegally download Transformers 2 Dark of the Moon, that's right here. If you'd like to see if you could save money by switching to Geico, that'll be below the video. If you want to invest in Bitcoin for any reason, click right above my head.